Welcome back to LettermenRow.com, everyone. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Birminology. And once again, we're dealing with a commitment edition of Birminology, a player that we spoke to recently, Bennett Christian from Ackworth, Georgia, Alatoona High School. 2 weeks ago, we talked, Bennett. You were getting ready to make a trip to Tennessee. At that time, you just got back from Columbus. You said maybe you kind of felt like you knew what you were thinking, where you were heading. What was it ultimately that sealed the deal for Ohio State? Why are you now an Ohio State Buckeye?
Mr. Jeremy, a lot of things kind of, made my decision clear. Like a lot of prayer, a lot of discussion with my family. But I think one of the main things that happened, I just felt really like a priority to Ohio State and Coach Wilson and Coach Day. At the end of the day, it's been my dream to play at Tennessee. But at the same time, I think for me, as a player, I think my best place to play college football is definitely at the Ohio State University. I think it's going to be home to me, and I just can't wait to get up there.
How did Coach Day and Coach Wilson respond when you let them know? Where were you when that happened? Did you surprise them? How did that play out?
Well, so I was in the car with my dad, and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I think I really like Ohio State. I think I kind of want to just go ahead and, I want to see if I can commit. And so I called Coach Day. I said, "Hey, Coach, I really been thinking about this for a long time. It's okay with you. I want to be a Buckeye, part of the family." And he was extremely happy. He was all in on it. Coach, he said his first thing he said is like, "Well, did you tell Coach Wilson he'll be jumping out of his skin?" And so we talked to Coach Day for about 10 minutes about it, and he was there all fired up. And then I got the phone with him, go to call Coach Wilson. As we're calling Coach Wilson, Coach Day goes ahead and starts calling him. And so we got on a conference call at the same time, and we're just all talking about it, and that's kind of how it all happened.
At the risk of veering off, is what I do. Was there any concern or worry, like maybe I'm going to call and they're going to say, "Hey, you can't commit"? I mean, that has to be a little nervous, right?
Well, they told me multiple times that they were all in on their side. So I kind of knew if I wanted to, I could. So that, yeah.
So last weekend, you did make a trip to Tennessee, but again, you went into that trip kind of feeling like you'd already started leaning in the Ohio State direction from what you told me.
Right.
How did that affect the trip to Tennessee? Was it just an instant, comparing everything that you saw? Because as you said, you'd been to Tennessee multiple times throughout your life, so you kind of knew what to expect, but did you view it from a different perspective now than before?
I did, because every time I would go there as a fan, not a recruit. And so that was a lot different coming in there. So basically, I, coming in there, I was thinking, okay, what's new? Because now I really have to pay attention to the whole campus, not just the stadium. And so I saw everything I needed to see. I saw all the facilities, all the entire campus, in every which way. And so kind of all of that, I just compared it to what Ohio State was. And it's two totally different areas now. Because Tennessee, and they get Knoxville, it's in the Tennessee River. You have all the mountains and trees. Columbus is always in a city, but at the same time, Ohio State's campus, there's a lot of green and stuff on it too. And so at the end of the day, I did enjoy Ohio State more. Because I felt like more like home than Tennessee did.
I guess for a kid who grew up rooting for the checkered orange end zone, and because of your dad playing at Tennessee. You said he was in the car with you when you when you made that decision. How did your parents handle this? They're both Tennessee alumni. I mean, was there any sort of shucks, or how did they respond?
Yeah, everyone asks this, and I always tell them my parents were very, very supportive of whatever decision I made. They said, "Bennett, listen, man, like you have God on your side, you have us on your side, so no matter where you go, we'll always support you." And as a kid, and especially having parents, who are big Tennessee people. It just felt really good to have really, really supportive family, and so they were like so excited, more excited than I was that I would become a Buckeye, and they were all talking about where they're gonna get some Ohio State gear because there's not much we don't have much right now. So, but yeah, they were very very excited for it.
You are the sixth commitment in the class of 22 for Ohio State, the first player to be committed that is not either from Ohio or directly tied to Ohio. Deshaun McCullough, he lives in Kansas, but he was born and lived the first 9 years of his life in Cincinnati. What was it like to let those guys know that you're in the class? These are now your brothers for the foreseeable future and probably for the rest of your life. What does it mean to you to have that sort of bond developing with the guys in your class?
Well, even just from talking to the guys already, they're all great people. Like me and Deshaun and CJ have been talking, and already they're great people. And so, as I get to know them better and stuff, I think it'll be like a really good brotherhood we'll have going on, and I'll help add to that brotherhood as well. Whatever I can do to get some more Buckeyes for the 2022 class, I know I'm doing my best to do that. And so having that brotherhood up there is going to be really good, especially as a football player. Because you need to be brothers to win a football game. That's just how a team succeeds.
In your class, Ohio State is looking to add a second tight end. We talked about that a little bit already in the past, but there are a few guys in that upper tier of conversation. One of them is Benji Gosnell over there in North Carolina, who coached Kevin Wilson, and the Buckeyes have spent a lot of time recruiting. Do you feel like you're ready to take on the role of active recruiter? Because when you're building a class, being the sixth guy in the group, there is a bit of responsibility on you to help grow that, isn't there?
Oh, yes, sir, for sure. And listen, I talked to Benji. He's a phenomenal guy already, just from the short conversations we've had. And so I know adding him to the squad would be awesome because I think me and him could get that Luke Farrell / Jimmy Rucker type vibe up there. I think he's an amazing person, but not only that, he's also an amazing player. And so that's always what Ohio State's about. Not only finding great football players, but finding good people. And so I think Benji would be an amazing addition. I would love to play with him up there. I think we'd be really good friends, and also I think he'd be also a good recruiter, helping us more people coming in.
For Benji, his top three schools are Ohio State, Florida, and North Carolina. Obviously, growing up a fan of Tennessee, you probably did not like Florida a whole lot growing up.
No, not at all.
How ready are you to start finding new teams to hate? And do you think it will be easy to learn what it takes to be an Ohio State Buckeye? Is your family ready to, hate Michigan?
Like as a Tennessee fan, there was never any reason to hate Michigan, but already I've just somehow felt an urge to hate the team to the north. So, it's kind of something that's just kind of adapted to me already from watching a bunch of Ohio State games. So I'm just so excited for it, and already, yeah, it's like ever since I told people I was a part of that group, it's just been absolutely incredible.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was done.
The first time you get on campus at Ohio State and actually can go inside of the buildings, you will notice that there is a fairly concentrated effort to remind you to hate Michigan. So, yeah. I think it's interesting as a recruit because you're a perfect example of this, honestly, Bennett, is that what you grew up thinking you wanted is not always what you think you need when it comes down to make a decision. Consider this an infomercial for the Ohio State University at this point. Why should a recruit like Benji Gosnell, for example, whose brother plays at North Carolina, you have an opportunity and a recruiting pitch, I guess, that's pretty unique because you had every reason in the world to be picking Tennessee and you didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
What ultimately makes Ohio State that much different to a guy like you?
Well, there's only one The Ohio State, and that's why it's The Ohio State for a reason. And so, it's the best team of all time. It's a place that's really appealing to everybody. I mean, when you tell people you're going to Ohio State, their mouth drops. Like it's one of those ordeals. And I know one thing I'll tell people that stands about Ohio State, like coaching wise, they don't care about you for your football too. They care about you for your life ahead of football. They care about your job after you graduate if you're not going to the NFL. Because everyone's goal is going to the NFL, but they have internships set up for seniors and all that, and so it's more than football up there, and that's what a person like anybody should take into account, that they're not just using you for football, they're using you for a person. I mean, they're investing tons of money into you, and that just stands out more than any other school.
I think that in a time right now, Bennett, when the Big Ten is, if we're being honest, they're somewhat being attacked by other conferences for suggesting that maybe they don't care as much about football because the Big Ten isn't playing this fall. Are you telling me that concept is actually a positive, that maybe they care about more than just football? Like, is that a good thing? I guess what I'm trying, like, I guess what I'm saying is, it is that potential negative that's happening right now in the Big Ten helping shed a light on what Ohio State does different?
I would say so, because this is kind of wake up. Because of course, Ohio State, if they could, they'd be playing, and they're still trying to. Because Ohio State unfortunately can't control what the Big Ten says. It sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. So I guess in this time, they kind of they're gonna have to develop their players already up there. Because there are some who are gonna go to the NFL, some who are gonna go to the combine. They have to help train, and they're gonna do whatever they can to help their guys to fulfill their goals. And so I mean, as much as I know they want to play, as much as they should play, because I know that if they did play, they'd be national championships or national champions this year. And so, for them, like not having a season, yeah, it sucks, but it kind of gives them more time to focus on other things as well.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let you get on your way with your Monday and let you focus on other things, celebrating your commitment to Ohio State. Thanks for taking the time, Bennett. We really appreciate it. That is Bennett Christian, Ohio State's latest 2022 commitment. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on Lettermen Row. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will catch you next time. Have a good one.